Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the videos of the paid requests. This time for James. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, PayPal is usually the best bet. Or you can join my Patreon. The links are in the info box, either down there or over there, but wherever the info box is this week on YouTube. But this is for the film I Saw the TV Glow, directed by Jane Schoenbrun, starring Justice Smith, which he was in that American Society of Magic. God. He was in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. He was in Detective Pikachu, Dungeons and Dragons Among Thieves. You also have Brigette Lundy-Paine. Fred Durst, yes, from Limp Bizkit, plays the dad. Of course, the not nice dad. And I'm trying to remember, yeah, A24 released this. Now, you know my feelings on films released by A24. Granted, yes, I know they're just the guys that buy the movie and release it, but it's just that their taste in movies usually is not my taste in movies. As in, what they like, a lot of times is not going to be the same that I like. And that's what I mean by I'm not a fan of A24. As that we have very different taste buds. Once in a while, okay, Uncut Gems, I agree with them. I liked that movie. You know, there's a few others. Everything Everywhere All at Once, there's another one I liked. I Saw the TV Glow was not for me. It was a good-looking movie. The cinematography was very colorful. I get what it was trying to say and trying to do, where it's trying to be a fairly LGBT trans allegory, where Justice Smith, he's a kid. I mean, one of the very first scenes you see is, remember when you're kids, you have the parachute game, or the parachute thing in gym, where you're under the parachute, where the parachute, the colors are color-coded for the trans flags, and about something buried deep within. And the director outright said that's what it was too. So it's not like I'm grasping at straws. The director literally said that's what it was about. But I guess if you're not that, you can look at it as a sense of isolation, where you're stuck somewhere, you're stuck in your hometown, or you're stuck in your job, and you didn't follow your dreams, and life caught away from you, where now it's 15 years later and you're stuck somewhere and you're depressed and you're happy, and you wish you would be happy, but you were too scared, too afraid, felt too isolated, felt too condemned within the prison in your mind, that you decided to just not go anywhere, not break out, not be free, not follow the dreams by hook or by crook. Take that chance. And that's supposed to be the horror, the terror of the movie. But the thing is, like, the marketing, it makes it seem like it was more of a sci-fi movie, or more of a supernatural movie. Maybe that's the wrong word to use. Or more of a horror film. I guess for some people they could look at it as a horror film because of, again, those themes. But horror as in being scary, to me, no. If it was to you, good on you, it wasn't to me. To be frank and honest, like I'm going to be, you don't have to agree with me, I'm just not going to lie, I was not a fan of the film. I did not think it was scary, I did not think it was creepy. I did what it was trying to do, like I said. I did appreciate what it was trying to do, and I'm just looking at the names because I'm bad with names. But yeah, Justice Smith. First, we see a younger version of him. I forget the kid actor's name. He is lonely, isolated at school. He meets this other lady, and the character's name is like I said, I told you it was Maddie. The character's name is Maddie. Hey, I told you I was bad with names. I wasn't lying about that BS. The bullshit. Meets Maddie, who is a lesbian, and pretty much shows our lead character the show called the OPAC, the Pink OPAC. Trying to very like goofy, weird, surreal kid show. Like you would see those kind of kid shows back in the day on Nickelodeon or stuff like that. And as a kid, they looked at it in one way, seeming much more deeper, much more scarier, much more talking to you in terms of what it makes you feel, how it inspires you, up, down, and center. But if you watch it as an adult, it's like, oh, well, this is kind of, it doesn't hold up, or it seems a lot more cheesier, which not nearly as scary as you thought it was. Maybe nostalgia, maybe whatever made you think it was something much more crazier than it was. But at the same time, he's hooked, absolutely 100% hooked into this show. And him and this girl Maddie bond by watching the show. And he's got to do it in secret. So he's got to lie to his mom saying he's going to someone else's house for a sleepover, but he sneaks over to watch this show. His dad has heard of the show, but goes, "Isn't that show for girls?" So you tell that he doesn't have the best home life. At one point, his mom passes away. There's not a whole lot to the parent characters. Like, you get just the lightest of hints of what kind of people they are. You get the hint that the dad is more than likely abusive. There's a point where our character, when he's older, goes crying to another adult about what he can and can't do. And we see a mark on his neck, which more than likely was put there by his dad. And then the rest of the show, I mean, the rest of the movie is those two talk with each other, our lead character, Maddie. Maddie, to tell, wants to break free while our lead character is too scared to do so. He stops watching the show. Maddie disappears. Before that, I should say, it's 2 years later. I thought it was a bit weird because you have like one actor playing our lead character, and then 2 years go by, and all of a sudden it's Justice Smith. And I'm sitting there going, it just felt disconnect. It was disconnecting to see that much of a change in the person's face when it's only supposed to be 2 years. When it's like 10 years, okay, you know, it's manageable. But 2 years? Look at any picture you have from 2 years ago. Do you look like a completely different person? I'm not talking about with the plastic surgery stuff. I'm like, so I thought it was weird that it was only 2 years, and then it's Justice Smith. And one of my issues with the film is that the acting, the characters, I'm sure that's the whole point, is that they're so emotionally distant because of where they are in life and where they are feeling trapped and isolated and emotionally distant, distraught, however the hell you want to put it. But they still, for me, my opinion, come off as just so boring, dull, soulless, and bland of characters that I just get bored watching these two jamokes. I don't care if you want to be gay or straight or trans or both or neither. I don't care if you eat every alphabet in alphabet soup. Okay? Canned goods and all. I don't care. I can appreciate the idea behind it. But, the look of the film and the visuals of the film, like I say, is very colorful at times. And some of the unique, like, trying to be horror aspects where our lead character's psyche is not in his right frame of mind, so he'll look at the show, but he'll imagine certain things, like this ice cream type of creature figure on the show, or this one that looks like the moon. What was that old movie back in the day? A Trip to the Moon. The old movie way back in the day. Like, the rocket goes to the moon, you have the moon that's smiling, and then you have that type of figure, but it's like, look at it much more sinister, our lead character. Or at one point, like, characters on the show are being force-fed this juice called Luna Juice. I can appreciate, to say for, you know me, I repeat shit all the time. I get it, but again, the characters were just so bland. And if you want to make the lead character that way to show that this person is always trapped, feeling trapped, okay, but I don't know if Justice Smith is the best actor for the job. I don't think he's the best actor anyway. He was serviceable. I could deal with him in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, he was kind of like, okay, he's the guy that streams a lot. And he's kind of the comedic support for Chris Pratt and other characters. He just came off as just more dull than anything. Well, that's the point. But again, it was so dull that I didn't care about his plight. I didn't care about what happened to him. I didn't care about him at all. Almost wanted to yell at the screen, "Stop being a pussy! Man up, come on! Stop being a pussy! Stop being a wussy! Sissy! Don't be a pussy!" What was that Wesley Snipes like? Said, "Sissy! Don't be a sissy!" Like, come on! Like, wake up! But I mean, that's probably maybe what you're supposed to view as a viewer. But here's the thing. There's another character, didn't want to spoilers, named Maddie, that said she disappears. So years go by, and that's when his mom has died, and I think he's worked at a movie theater. He finds this girl again, and it seems like she's a bit more free, and she's a bit more open, and she was able to find a bit of herself. I guess the idea is that she wants to talk to this guy for him to find his self and to escape. And number one, that's when we should have seen much more of Maddie's personality. That's what we should have seen, much more of her lively. Like, make it where at the beginning she's as lifeless as him, she's as bland as him, or she's as monotone. Just, it's when you have two people talking in such monotone conversations, for me, it just gets really boring. Monotone. No emotion. I'm talking like this, and then I'm talking like this, and we're talking like this. Do you like the show? I like the show. Yeah, the show's pretty good. Yeah, the show is pretty good. Yeah, what does it mean for you? I don't know. What does it mean for you? When it's that again and again and again, I'm just sitting there going, this ping pong of monotony. Emotionless 1, emotionless 2. 1, 2. Ba. It just like, my brain melts into monotone madness. And it feels, maybe it's just me, but it feels like a lot of people, that seems to be what they view as acting, is monotone. Now again, if it's for a reason, okay. But then have the Maddie character be monotone at first, but then now that she escaped, she ran away, she wanted to find herself, she's found herself a bit more, it seems. Now show, wow, look at her. She's got more personality. She's more livelier. She's humorous. She's telling jokes. She's doing this, she's doing that. We've now seen this change, where because she broke free, she was able to be more of herself, to be more free of herself. Let us see it. Emotion. Humor. And so we just say, oh wow, yes, she did this. Part of you wants this guy to be like this person now in terms of being free. Because we see how she was before, now we see how she is after. But she's acting the same way. The same monotone expressions, the same dead stares, the same monotone delivery. And then for me, visually and audibly, I'm sitting there going, okay, you just say it, but I don't see a positive change that you've gone through. I don't hear a positive change you've gone through in terms of the way you react and act and everything. I don't see it. And then it's a movie that's very, very, very much into metaphors, where I'm sure it's supposed to be one of those movies where what's actually happened is not really what's happened. And maybe metaphors is the wrong word to use. Symbolism. Much more heavy into symbolism. So more of the things we're seeing are stuff that's symbolized, not what's actually happening. So again, I said this is spoilers. He's not really opened up his chest and there's a TV screen in there. It's a symbolism. Maddie is telling this guy because she saw this final episode and she had someone bury her, and by burying her alive she was able to break free. Now she's telling, you need to bury yourself, or you need to get someone to bury you. Let me tell you something. If I meet any lady, I don't care who, what, when, why, I don't care how hot she is, I don't care what she promises. She could promise a blowjob that lasts 10 hours, 10 minutes, or 10 years. She could promise me every anal evacuation to the point I'm clean and dry inside and out, that you could put a lollipop, you could put a damn popsicle up my ass, come out, and still not melted. I don't care what she promises. If she's telling me she's going to bury my ass, I'm going to run away and get either a weapon, or get a cop, or get Jesus and says, here you go, I found him, here you go. You want to find Jesus? There you go. Now you go do whatever the hell you want. You don't tell me to bury myself, alright? But it's supposed to be symbolism and meaning, but I get that. But it's so heavy on it that it almost gets to the air of pretentiousness, like it wants to be David Lynch. A lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people found it that way. That's fine. But again, I'm the wrong audience because I'm not even a David Lynch guy. When I see symbolism on stuff, when I see Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, I just see the symbolism and how Jesse, there's something inside me, something buried inside me, and then, you know, is he gay, is he not gay? Like that, I could be more, and I enjoy that film more. Jacob's Ladder from 1990, the symbolism of that. That's a film I enjoyed much, much more, and I found much more hard-hitting, especially for the acting, for the performances, for the characters. Here, I have two characters that, because the plot wants to dictate it, are blank slates, and so it's hard for me to give a rat's ass about what's going on. And it just becomes a dull affair for me to watch the film. Because then what happens is that, of course, some lady tells you, you gotta bury, and I want to know if I did the right dialogue she says. She urges Owen to bury himself with her in order to start season 6 as Isabel. Oh yeah, that's right. If we bury together, we'll be in the show. That's how she also talked. I got buried now, I was in the show. Let's get buried together and then we'll be in the show. Again, that's crazy talk. I mean, I know that's supposed to be all symbolism, but it's like, again, hey, if you bury with me, we're going to be in Murphy Brown or Roseanne, or we're going to be in Breaking Bad, or I'm just thinking of random shows. We're going to be an Elf. And go to Melmac. I'm like, I ain't getting buried with you. Under the sheets, maybe, but no. Of course, it's not that thing, because she's a lesbian. But I didn't even get a sense of, okay, if he wants to be trans, is he into other guys? Or is he still into other girls? It's not really much of a sexuality theme, even though the director says it's supposed to be about that. And people say, well, it's not about that, but at the same time, you would think that'd be at least a part of it, at least a hint of it, at least a part of the topic at hand, you would think. But you don't really see any of that, where maybe he glances and he's conflicted, or at least if it did that, I apologize, I didn't notice because I was so damn bored with the film. So of course he hears the lady come up with this option. He runs off. Never really saw her again. And then it's kind of him narrating, and time goes by. and he kind of lets the show go by. He's older. He watched the show, just streaming and whatever. And he said, wow, this show isn't as scary. It's not as good as he remembers it. So the show that he impacted him doesn't give him any hope, doesn't give him any good feelings, doesn't give him anything. That's how deeply he's buried himself. His true self, how you want to put it. So now he's working, his dad has passed away, but his dad was barely a character. It's just that his dad, every once in a while, popped up. You saw mostly the back of his head. There's one scene where Justice Smith, he's watching the show, it ends, and you see like his head in the TV, and the dad's pulling him out, putting him in the shower and making him puke it out. I guess that's supposed to mean he wants to escape in that show because he wants to live in that show because he hates where he's at and he wants to be that, not where he's at now. But he's too scared, too this and that. He's stitched with his fate. Years and years go by. Like his dad dies off screen just like his mom died off screen. And now he's working this measly job. He doesn't look that great. His lips are like chapped all the hell. I'm like, damn, get some chapstick. Here's a bottle of water for you or something. And it's like an arcade, and he does like a little measly job. There's like a birthday for some kids. He's screaming. He freaks out, goes to the bathroom. He opens up his chest. There's a TV glow. He comes out. He apologizes, but no one gives a rat's ass. No one pays attention to him. Which to me came off as a very depressing ending, but a lot of people viewed it as a very uplifting ending. And I'm like, I guess the reason being that he still has something within him and that maybe there's still time. To me, it just, okay, maybe within him, but I have zero reason to believe he'll ever do anything about it. And maybe that's my own cynical nature in my brain. If he hasn't done anything since then about this, and then the movie stops. And I'm like, what does he do? He apologizes. He apologizes, no one notices, no one cares. So again, I looked at it as more of a horror ending. That you're lost, you're confused, you're trying to talk, no one cares about you. Of course, the way I look at it is, no one thinks it's as big of a deal as you think it is. I shouldn't say no one, but, and I know this is going to be very controversial. Listen, I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you want to be trans. If you're old enough to make that decision on your own and know the ramifications, because there are some people, and I'll get on this since the movie wants to get on this, there are some. And my issue is when a kid is 8, 9, 10 years old, or 12, 13, 14 years old, and they haven't lived enough of life yet. They haven't lived enough of an experience yet. They're not even old enough to drive, let alone something that's going to change their life for the rest of their life. I think you need time to think, reflect, and make damn sure. So when you're 19 or 20, and that's, you're in college or whatever, or you're out of college if it's a 2-year one or whatever, and now you're out into the world. Now you can make those choices. That's going to be the rest of your life, whether it be your career or whether it be your sexuality or what you want to identify with. My issue is that when they're trying to dictate it in schools to kids that are 10 years old, and I'm like, the kid doesn't even know how to count. And kids, what do you want to be? I want to be a pirate. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be Captain Kirk. Well, you're not going to be Captain Kirk. So if you don't even know 100% of that, how you don't know the other stuff? Make sure, your brain isn't even developed fully. Can we wait and concentrate on the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, and the other stuff first before we get into that? That's where my issue comes from. And yes, there are pricks who take that too far in terms of demeaning and demoting and crapping on people who happen to be that. If anyone watching, if you happen to be gay, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're someone who identifies as whatever, I have no problem with that. Just be a decent person. Also, if you're a guy that became a girl, don't get mad if I say a guy because you were a guy. Okay? It's like anything else. Don't get too mad about it. Because they're not trying to say it to be a dick. They're just saying it as, oh yeah, you were a guy. Yes, it was fat. You were a guy. Like anything, don't have a superiority over it. That includes any race, any genre that you want to fit yourself into, any gender you want to fit yourself into. Whether you're white, black, all over, don't have a sense of superiority as if you're better than someone or you mean more than someone. I'm not better than you, and you're not better than me, and so on and so forth. But anyway. But hey, that's just me. And so I see the end here, I'm sitting there going, he's apologizing to everybody, which, okay, you shouldn't have to apologize, but he's apologizing to everybody. He doesn't have any determination on his face, like he's going to change something. Like he's got a new sense of determination for the future. He looks scared. He looks confused. He looks like he's ready to collapse. Like he's ready to have a heart attack. Like he's ready to freak out. So there's nothing in the ending that dictates that there is time, as in he's going to change. But I'm sure that's supposed to be the question mark. You're supposed to ask your question. Is he going to change, or is he going to keep on the same path? He's obviously not happy. And that's really the only thing what the film is going for, because, again, all the other attributes that a film can have. Did I think the film was funny? Well, no, the film's not trying to be funny in any way. Humor or comedy. So take that out. It's not action. There's no action. That's never in the equation. Okay. Special effects. Well, there's a couple little creatures here and there that he thinks that he sees on the show. They're fun to see, but they're brief, fairly brief, and you see them again a handful of times. Scary, again, some people view it as scary. I did not. I didn't find anything scary about the film. Maybe because it's not something. Well, technically, you relate to feeling trapped, but the same. I don't know. The way the movie showcase it, I didn't find scary or anything. It felt like a film that was a bit too long for its good. I thought it dragged in quite a few parts. It was a lot of blank stares, blank staring more and more. Again, the dialogue exchanges, which is very, very monotone, I'm sure on purpose, but again, when it's consistently monotone throughout the entire movie, and monotone A tossed to monotone B, it felt like two automatons, two robots talk to each other for a good chunk of the movie. And robots that didn't have any personality, they didn't have any, for me, likability in terms of why should I care about their plight, unless the deep themes mean much more to you than it did to me because of the allegories that they wanted to incorporate. Like I said, when you look at the poster and stuff, you think it's going to be more, again, at least that's what I assume, more sci-fi or more, but it's not. That's not the case. Again, it's trying to be like David Lynch for teens. That's really what it's like, David Lynch for teens. I guess if you're a diehard David Lynch guy, maybe you'll get more out of this. But I'm not even a Lynch guy. I'd be curious, but maybe some people would be like, no, what are you talking about? This is an insult to say it's David Lynch. But that seems like what they're going for. So I just got bored with the film. I'm like, oh, some pretty pictures. Justice Smith, I'm not big on. I'm not big on him as an actor. Maybe a different actor to incorporate a bit more of the sympathy That even if you're being very monotone, that there are moments where you could break out and just have that kind of presence or that kind of it factor to still make it somewhat engaging, even in a monotone fashion. The Maddie character, have her show us what her personality is, but they don't do that. And yeah, I may appreciate what it's trying to do, it just didn't work for me. So take that for what you will. Thanks for watching, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.